Hey everybody. So, I finally got my copy of Float in, and I gotta say that Bright Light Games is awesome. Because I don't remember if I actually paid for the shipping or anything, and they responded with me in 4 minutes, which is pretty impressive. But Float is a game that's basically like Arkham Horror, where you play against a deck. It is a 2 to 5 player game, I believe. Can't remember exactly. So, full disclosure, already opened this up, unwrapped everything just because I don't want to show that on camera. And I read the rules. But other than that, I didn't really look through a lot. So this is the all-in. I think the original game was like a $60 pledge, and if you got the all-in, you got these add-ons. So it came with these, which I believe are hazard markers. I know the life raft is a day marker. Came with a shirt that I don't really care about, but is part of the all-in. It did come with this Cthulhu pack, which is why I did the all-in, because anything with Cthulhu I usually buy. And then it came with the Kickstarter exclusives, but I think the pin and the stickers were part of extras. I don't really remember. But it did come with this really cool metal pin. I don't really wear pins. Some stickers. The Davy Jones card, which is one of the enemies, basically. And these really neat dice. And if you're wondering why I'm in a bathrobe, it's because it's cold. And I'm recording this right now at like 1 in the morning and it's 30 degrees outside. So, yeah. So you roll the dice, and whatever number you get is basically how you succeed. Pretty simple. Down here is in manual. Game's fairly basic. So I'm going to try to push this through while I'm trying to do the Scarlet Keys with my friends tomorrow. Or, yeah, tomorrow. So, game's pretty much just a main board with all your trackers. The giant tarot-sized cards are basically your enemies that you have to fight or deal with. You have this day deck right here that flips over and basically tells you what happens for the day. And then you have basically a deck of loot. You also have a deck of survivors, but the deck of loot's basically what's going to be like good, bad stuff, equipment, health, just in general, your random encounters. There are some water cubes, which is a resource you're going to need just for survival. But I'll get to all that. But it's a very short, well, I say short because it's actually fairly easy. The game's not very complex. One of the reasons I backed this game was because it had a really interesting concept, and because, again, Cthulhu. But it has a weird stab your friend in the back mechanic. And I bring that up because it's a two-player game. I think solo, you could play it solo by removing some of the cards that require group play. But I'll get to that. So we have our standard punchboard tokens here. This is your health. Pretty much almost every character gets 2 health. And when they go to 2 red, they die. Not bad. Here's where we're going to store our water cubes in this little punchboard cubes. You start with 2. And then here's your hazard marker. So if it goes to the red, you get attacked during the day by the monsters, and then you have to fight them at night. So that kind of sucks. And then you can have up to 3 survivors, and that's their health placement. I did think this is really neat. I like that. They also did that on the inside of the box. I thought that was really nice. This minimal art on the front, I actually think it's really smart because it makes people interested and be like, oh, what's that? And then they grab it and look around like, oh, that's cool. But yeah, so we have, 5 of these boards. So the game is up to 5 players. But this is your main board. So here's your daily status, where events are basically going to track what's going to happen. Here's the stuff that's going to attack you, and here's the day. So you get 3 actions during the day. You can draw cards, equip cards, rescue people or something. And then the day phase is some hazard stuff, and then the night phase at the end is where bad things happen. Your water, you have to spend X amount of water for how many people you have in your party, give or take whatever the modifiers are, and then you gotta fight. And it goes on like that. And that's why it's really a 2-player game, because whoever has the highest hazard token at the mark has to fight. So you can be fighting during the day or night phase, I can't remember, if you already have the highest amount, and you have to fight again. So it gets really weird. So there's a whole purpose to why it's a 2-player game and not a single-player game, but I think you could get away house ruling. But Here's basically the decks. So this is the out of the blue deck. This is everything in the ocean. It is just a pile of junk that you can use to help you survive. So we have equipment cards, like knife that helps you fight, driftwood, first aid kits to help you heal. Then we have these sabotage cards. So this is where you like basically attack each other, steal each other's equipment, screw your opponent over, and hope that they die and your guys survive, which are fast actions or instant actions. But you can also rescue extra crew members to help you. This is a defensive card that stacks. This protects you from the night environment event. This is actually a block to sabotage. And then these are just some weird... you don't start with these in the deck. They get added after the hands are dealt. But these are basically just good or bad things that happen. Yeah, that one's really bad. You do also have these downgrades you can throw on your opponent's characters to screw with them. And then we have water. There are 24 water cards, which are really important because water is how you're going to prevent your guys from dying. Yeah, here's some more downgrades like wounded. And surprisingly, that you can just find one handgun in the water. I thought that was kind of weird. Here is our water cubes. And they're actually cast really well. That one has a chip in it, though. Oh, well. I mean, just a marker cube. I'm not too worried about it. And the art's really interesting. So here are our enemies. We got, like, basically a kraken. So this is how much you have to roll to beat them. And you usually have 2 dice, but you can have up to 3 dice. And as long as your result is higher than that, you defeat it, and you don't get the penalty. But as you can see, not all the results are the same. So they also have different effects. So these two are the same creature, but this one has 1 less health. And this one actually, it's going to cost you 2 equipment on a loss and 1 person. While this one is 1 equipment 1. So, kind of a variable. But I do like the art and concept. Also, the ocean is terrifying. Be afraid. Be very afraid of the sea. Because everything in there wants to kill you. Even if it's a naked siren lady. Or albatrosses or condors. That seems kind of out of place in the ocean. I do like the fact that, I don't know if this is a Kickstarter exclusive only, but these marker tokens, so this goes for the danger, are plastic, and this is the day tracker. But I also believe that these are the same tokens. I can't remember. I do like that it's different, so that's kind of neat. But these feel really good, and I like the fact they're flat pack, so they'll store well. I don't know if I can get everything sleeved, fitting in the box well. It did come with these standard blue dice, and I like the fact that they're clear blue, so it just matches the theme. But they're just standard D6s. Nothing great, but nice little quality of life improvements. This is a really interesting system if you want a story. So, one of the optional things I read in the rules, which I thought was kind of chaotic, is for every point you have, you get to grab one of these cards, you still have to place them face out, and then you randomly pick one. And that just determines an optional end story bit. So I read them. This one is good. This one's good. This one is ominous. And same here with the now what. This one is basically a horror movie fake out. This is kind of the same way. This is, you get eaten by cannibals on the island. And this one, you cannot escape the deep. It just kills you. I thought that was kind of cool. You get to pick your own ending if you got to pick, but no, it's a random draw. So I'm just like, that seems kind of a weird mechanic. This game also has a really interesting cast of characters. So everyone's going to have this main survivor deck and just pick or randomly get one of these characters. And they all have different abilities. Some are continuous use, some are once you use them, you flip them over, so they got to recharge. So we got this Harry Steele dude. Seems to be a military BI. I don't know how helpful that is. But yeah, he adds +1 to all your roll. There's also character survivors that will also help that you pick up on Life Raft. I don't know if it says, yep. So we have Harry Steele, the army vet. And then we have Elise Griot, Do Mercé. She is an assassin, and according to the story, she's the reason the boat sank and why everyone ended up in the water. So her employers decided that she wasn't trustworthy enough to get the job done and decided to have someone sink the boat and kill her. Kind of weird. We have this guy, Cash Dubin, the lead guitarist. His ability is pretty cool. So sometimes you're going to pick up survivors that are dead weight, and he can just kick them out without affecting your danger meter, which is kind of helpful. Then we have this Emilia Santos, the doctor. She's really cool because she actually heals damage. And the only way I know that you can kind of do it is through medkits. Tiny Jones, the pro boxer. This guy just fights, so he helps you with your survival rolls once per day at +2. That's pretty good. So it's like always having a weapon. We have Arturo Vasquez, the entrepreneur. Once per day, exchange. Oh, yeah, so he's really good for going through and finding items or exchanging items. The photographer, I believe, Trixie Brown, she's really good at going through the deep out of the blue deck finding items. She's always ready to react. No, she just avoids bad stuff. Never mind. It's gonna be Maxine Love, the adult film star. Yeah, kind of a weird trope to put into a survival game. And of course, the innuendo 2 at a time. So, she gets to do multitasking 2 items. So she goes through equipment stuff. Most characters only get to hold 1 piece of equipment. So, yeah, really oddball group of crew. We always have our quick reference cards, which I always appreciate in games, even though this game really isn't that complicated. So, I like it, and I'm glad they included it. So here's the daily status things of the event that's going to drive the day. So we have things like calm day, nothing's going to happen, or clear day, where nothing bad really happens, just got to do your thing. Choppy waters, rainy day, volcanic eruptions, which I don't know why there would be that many volcanic eruptions, storms, the cold night, and of course extreme heat. So adds a lot of variety. You got to survive 7 days, so you're going to go through 7 daily status. And then we have our random group of castaways, and these are guys that you can rescue along with that go help out your main crew. So we got the saboteur, who basically helps you screw over your friends, I guess. We have the nurse, who's kind of like the doctor character. We have the line cook, kind of the same way. Oh, and these stats right here. So that's how much health they have, and that's how much extra dice they give you. So that's what's really cool about saving these guys. The cop. The stoner. So here's an example of a useless guy. This guy costs extra water, and he doesn't really help. So he kind of sucks. But he does give you an extra die. But there's better characters. The tourists are funny because they're just kind of useless and will do whatever, but they're better than, like, the socialite. Socialite gives you no dice, consume stuff, and they just stay there and annoy you. So, true parasites in a survival scenario. The Bachelorette, she's reckless. So, she's kind of a 50-50. If you need the die, great, but she's not really helpful. And then we have the Wounded, and these guys literally are just dead weight. They take up a slot, don't help you, and they screw you. And when you get them, if you don't accept them, you throw them overboard, it raises up your danger level. So that's pretty much the core box. And then here we have this. I'm not sure if this is going to be sold separately. So we have 2 items, the Dreamstone, the Sunken City Rella, probably, a lighthouse, food for the gods, a machete, Clint Sullivan. So this, I guess, is our guy from Jaws. I can't remember his name. Man of the Sea, legendary sailor fighter. When Sully has a weapon equipped to him, add +2 all your crew rolls. He's pretty good. And of course, we have Cthulhu, but for some reason they didn't want to say it's Cthulhu. But, he's Cthulhu. And he does terrible stuff, it looks like. So that's what comes in the Jeep. But I thought this was a neat game. I like the idea of sabotaging each other on a life raft. I thought it was hilarious. It's a weird teamwork slash trader game, but not really a trader game. So that's the Deep, or that's the Float from the Deep. Other than that, that's pretty much the game. And I'll probably do a how to play video, even though they do have a how to play video on their webpage, Brightlight here. So if you're interested in how to play, definitely go check them out. These tokens, by the way. Yeah, they're decent. I wasn't expecting much. Anything that's a nice little freebie, I'll take. Or I paid for these, I really can't remember. Hard to do when you do the all-in and plus the Kickstarter bonuses. But I do like the fact that these are plastic and not cardboard. And they actually sound pretty decent. Alright guys, well, if you like what I'm doing, let me know. If there's anything you want to see, please leave me a comment. I always appreciate likes and subscribers. Oh yeah, bags. And there's nothing else hidden under the box. But yeah, that's Float. Pretty much how the game is. Like I said, I think it's a neat concept. And I'm going to give it a try. And Brightlight, again, thank you for the quick response and customer service stuff. Alright guys, take care.